Have you seen this verse in the Qur'an? What about this one? Did you know that both of these highlighted words are actually made up of two words combined together? In the first one, a letter is missing, and in the second one, another letter disappears. So what's going on? Why does Arabic sometimes not write certain letters? Let's take a look at this word, ibn, which means son. If we say, هذا ابني أحمد, all the letters are there. But when we say, فتح مصر عمرو بن العاص, suddenly the alif is gone. And in اشتهر العباس وحمزة ابن عبد المطلب, the alif comes back again. So which one is correct? This might seem confusing at first, but welcome back to Arabic with Amina, where we break things down simply. In this video, we're going to understand why some letters in Arabic are just not written. There are four main letters that can be dropped in certain cases: Ya, Noon, Alif, and Waw. We'll start with the most common one, Alif. And what better place to start than Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The very first word, bism, is actually the preposition ba followed by the word ism. But the alif was not written. Why? Because when we say the complete form of the basmala, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that is, the alif will be dropped in writing. However, if we don't say the complete form, we say something like Bismillahi nabda, the alif remains. Now look at the word Allah. It's actually pronounced as so. And so it would be assumed we write it that way. However, that is not the way it is written. The alif must be dropped. Arabic is a language that writes words in the way they are pronounced. But there are some specific words that don't follow that rule. There's also ilah, which is actually pronounced like this, and lakin, which would look like this if written by pronunciation. There's not many of these words, so this covers the majority of it. The letters are pronounced, but never written. Now we move on to the word or the name Ar-Rahman. It is originally written with an alif. So why did we not include the alif? Because when this word comes with the definite article al-ta'rif, the alif is dropped. But if we remove al-ta'rif, the alif comes back. Such as if we were to make a dua like Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, irhamna bi rahmatik. Make sure to say Ameen, guys. We can see the alif is here because it does not have al in the beginning. So these are the circumstances when alif is dropped from the middle of a word. Now let's shift our focus to when alif is not written at the beginning of a word. The first important case are the words ibn and ibna, meaning son and daughter. Lineage is a very important part of Arabic culture, so this structure comes up a lot. For example, the Prophet ﷺ had a daughter named Fatima. So we might think to say Fatima ibnat Muhammad ﷺ. But actually, the correct writing is without the alif. Why? Because here the word ibna follows three specific conditions. It is in the singular form. It is not dual or plural. It is not khabar. It is actually used as a description or na'at. And it falls between two names, Fatima and Muhammad. The same applies to the word ibn. For example, Uthman bin Affan, radiyallahu anhu. The alif is not written. You can also apply this to your own name. Your name, followed by either ibn or ibna, depending on your gender, and then the name of your father. Just make sure to remove the letter alif. Now let's quickly understand what not khabar means. If someone asks, Man hada? Who is this? And you respond, Hada Ahmad ibn Yusuf. This is Ahmad, Yusuf's son. Here the alif stays, because the word ibn is actually a khabar. It is not used as a description or a na'at. I talk more about mubtada and khabar in another video. The second case when alif can be dropped from the beginning is when we add the interrogative hamza to the word ibn, ibna, or ism. For example, ibn Yusuf hada? Is this Yusuf's son? Ismuka Ahmad? Is your name Ahmad? Here we already have a hamza at the beginning. So instead of writing two, Arabic keeps one and drops the other. The one that is dropped is the one part of the word ibn and ism, because an alif with a hamza is considered stronger than an alif without a hamza. And our third case is when lam and al-ta'rif come together. Look at this verse from the Qur'an. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. We have lam al-jar in particular, followed by the word an-nas, which is defined with al-ta'rif. In this case, the alif has to be dropped. We're only keeping the letters lam. Another example, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. Here, this is lam with the word al-akhirah, lam al-ibtida. Nonetheless, regardless of which lam, we must drop the letter alif. That covers alif being dropped from the beginning of a word. We talked about ibn and ibna. When we have the interrogative alif with the following words, and when lam and al-ta'rif come together. Now let's look at when alif is dropped at the end of a word. Rule number 1, and the only rule here, in fact, is when the interrogative ma is preceded by a preposition. The alif of ma will be dropped, and the two words merge together. Such as ala, which is a preposition, and ma, the interrogative ma, which means ma here means a question as what? Ala ma. The alif has been dropped, and in its place we put a fatha. Such as in the question, ala ma tabhath? What are you looking for? We can see it in other prepositions such as fi, fima, and ba, bima. Here's an example using fima, and this one is from the Qur'an. We have the verse, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ ظَالِمِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَالُوا فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ قَالُوا كُنَّا مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Here we can see that the two words merged together and the alif was dropped. But if you look at another verse in the Quran, ها أنتم هؤلاء حاججتم فيما لكم به علم فلم تحاجون فيما ليس لكم به علم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. Here we have fi and ma, but the alif wasn't dropped. Why? In the first verse, ma is a question. The translation of the verse is, indeed, those whom the angels take in death while wrongdoing themselves, the angels will say, in what condition? So fima here is in what. It's part of a question. In what condition were you? They will say we were oppressed in the land. However, in the second verse, ma does not mean the question what. The translation would be, here you are, those who have argued about that of which you have. So fima, that of which you have, some knowledge. But why do you argue about that of which you have no knowledge? And Allah knows while you know not. So we can see here that ma is not the interrogative ma. The rule doesn't apply here because ma here is not interrogative. It's not a question word. It's a different type of ma. And I covered the different meanings of ma in a separate video. So check that out. Now let's move on to when the letter noon is not written. Similar to the last rule we just covered, a preposition followed by ma. However, the prepositions of interest here are an and min. When followed by ma, regardless of the type, the noon is dropped and the words merge, becoming amma and mimma. We can see that in this verse here. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. It is actually an plus ma, but the noon was dropped. You may sometimes also see these written without the alif, in fact, such as amma and mimma, same pronunciation, but no alif, such as in Surat An-Naba, in the first verse, amma yatasa'alun. You may be wondering, why? Why do we have, again, two forms? But if you remember our previous rule, it was that the alif is dropped from the end of the word ma if it is attached to a preposition, as long as that ma is the interrogative ma, meaning it's a question, meaning what. In this verse, amma yatasa'alun, it translates to about what are they asking one another. It is a question sentence. So that is why in some circumstances, the alif can be dropped as well in addition to the letter noon. Rule number 2 of when to drop noon. The prepositions of interest are again an and min. When these prepositions come before the word man with a fatha, notice how there's min with a kasra and man with a fatha. The noon is dropped, becoming amman and mimman. This is quite simple, and here is a verse demonstrating this. And the highlighted word of the verse is actually min, followed by men. They merge and the noon drops. Rule number 3. When the conditional in is followed by ma az-zaida, which is a type of ma that doesn't change the meaning of a sentence, just adds slight emphasis. The noon is dropped and the two words become one, forming imma. An example from the Quran is shown here. Notice how it is one word and the noon has been dropped. Our final rule still involves the particle in. This time, however, the rule says if it is followed by la and nafiya, that is the la that negates. When these two words come together, the noon is dropped and they become one word. Here is our example. إِلَّا تَنْصُرُوهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَهُ اللَّهُ. So these are the circumstances in which the letter noon is dropped, meaning we don't write it. Now, moving on to the letter wow. When is this letter dropped? For wow, we only have two words. And these are words you may encounter, though not frequently. The first is Dawood, the equivalent of the name David in English. And the second word is Tawus, meaning peacock. In these words, we pronounce both vowels, Dawood and Tawus. But the correct spelling is to only write one wow. And that's it for when to drop the letter wow. There are cases where the letter ya is dropped, particularly in certain noun forms, but these are limited and heavily tied to grammar rules, so they're not covered in this video. In this video, I focused on nouns and particles, but letters can also be dropped from verbs. And I covered that in a separate video that's showing on your screen right now. Check that out to get a full picture of the topic. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out. See you next time. Arabic with Amina.